g'day everyone.
Awesome.
It is Jai, that Aussie Metal Guy here with Crank.com, and I'm joined by my awesome counterpart at Crannk, Mr. Jim Taylor. Today we're stoked to be joined by two incredibly talented musicians and brothers, Nick and Akiva Shavrick of Shavrock. The Baltimore-based band is about to unleash their debut, or did recently unleash their debut full length. Hope Found Me, 5th of August. They did drop their
Yeah.
physicals as well, which was 19th of August. It is a record packed with harmonies, bluesy rock guitar solos, and heartfelt lyrics produced by none other than Mr. Ron Bumblefoot. You'll probably recognize that name. He's been all over the place, appearing in a whole bunch of bands, but also did play with Guns N' Roses for a bit as well. Thank you, Nick and Akiva, for joining us. Really appreciate it, my friends.
Absolutely.
Absolute bloody pleasure to dive into this music. This was really cool album to get into and kind of listen to and kind of take it all in as well. Can you take us back first though to the early days? You two, of course, brothers. How did this first all start for you both?
I mean, we started playing music at a pretty young age. We've been close throughout our whole lives, and it started off that I played mostly lead guitar. Akiva played rhythm, so that was a nice little duo. And as he got older, I mean, he blossomed into an amazing lead guitar player himself, and that's just kind of how we got to where we are.
Yeah, it's always been a very close relationship, and he's 1 year older, but we've always hung out with the same friends and this was the same circle, and then eventually we started both progressing in music, as he said. I always played rhythm for many years, and then Nick was shredding away. Then I'm like, wait a minute, I got to start shredding too. So eventually I got into it, and then it just blossomed into Nick started writing incredible original songs. And I was like, we got to do something with this. And that's sort of the background of how everything really happens.
Wasn't really anticipated, I would say.
Yeah.
Just kind of happened. We got, thank God, some great friends and people that pushed us to take the next step. So that's really how we kind of got to where we are right now, is a lot of push, a lot of support to get it out there. There was too much music we were sitting on for so many years, and we kind of just polished it and finally put it out.
So you guys have, of course, switched the roles with guitars at the moment, haven't you? Though one lead and
Yeah,
rhythm there as
Yeah,
well. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
So
there
I
you
mean,
go, bro.
we do both take we do both take some solos on the record, but he does the majority of the work. We even had Ron Bumblefoot take two of the solos on the
Yes.
record, which are just unbelievable.
yeah.
Get into
But
that.
yeah, we definitely traded places a little bit, and
Yeah, it's been cool, honestly. Like, there's certain songs that many people don't even know that on the songs themselves, like Nick will start on the solo. I'll come in, like we have a song called Dazed and Confused. Like begins the solo, I come in for the middle section, then he finishes it. And we did that on a bunch of songs, like Burning Sky as well. I'll start the solo, and then he'll come in. So
there's like three songs that
yeah,
we're both playing
so
solos.
it was a fun project to really collaborate, and we're very similar in our style, but still different. So it was fun to do. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I seen that and I was wondering that listening. Sorry, Jim, 2 seconds. Wondering
No.
that with the album, with you two bouncing off, were you doing that at certain points, like one
Yes.
Yeah,
going the leads and then swapping into the rhythms? Because I have.
Yeah, we did that.
it wasn't even planned originally. We just kind of start off and
Yeah,
we did with a couple of songs.
Bring Them Home had that too, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did three songs on the record that have that type of feel. It's not exactly the same formula because, as he said, Burning Sky, he starts off and then
Right.
I take over and finish. And with Dazed and Confused, I start, he comes in the middle with something really melodic, then I go and finish it off. So we had a few of those, and I think for the next record, maybe we'll do more of that. 'Cause we had a good time with it.
Yeah. I think everything came out great, so I'm happy with it.
You you were trading off. It sounded like Coheed and Cambria type stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, I
Like
mean they're great, and it's we just figured that, listen, like not many bands have two lead guitar players, as you know, I'm sure. So we
Right.
figured that, like, if we have that, we might as well take advantage and go for something and try to create something very cool. And I think we
let's just
succeeded.
have more fun.
Yeah.
Also, I think
Well, that's also true.
at least for me, I'm not stuck just playing rhythm guitar the whole time.
Right.
So just jumping back into when you guys were starting as well, with who were some of your biggest musical inspirations, kind of when you both picked up guitars?
That's a great question. And so we have to say that our two main guitar inspirations were Slash from Guns N' Roses, obviously, and I would say even more was Zakk Wylde from Ozzy. Zach
Oh
had
yeah.
such a Zach had such a profound impact on Nick and I, and just how our pick attack and everything like that, and so that sort of really influenced us as to what style we want to go. So we knew we wanted humbuckers, we knew we wanted a Gibson Les Paul, and obviously there was a bunch of huge bands as well, like the Scorpions and Boston and so many, Def Leppard, but that those two guys really inspired us to become guitar players, honestly.
Yeah, and there's a lot of guys that I think crossed over after that. It's like that kind of like formed our what's the word for it? Like our foundation
Yes.
of how we want to play. And like for myself, some of my biggest influences are like Paul Gilbert and Andy Timmons and
Satriani,
Doug,
Steve Vai.
Doug Aldrich. All those guys were like huge in terms of kind of like polishing off
Yes.
how we wanted to play.
Mhm.
And I learned a lot from just YouTube was so incredibly resourceful with like and having a guy like Paul Gilbert being able to teach you like by him posting his own videos, he becomes everybody's teacher, which is really, really cool. And you get to learn and pick up on a lot of little pieces and kind of like form your own style to a certain extent.
I think that's the perfect way to say it in the sense that, and it's a lifelong, process. I came across Joe Bonamassa, I don't know, a bunch of years ago.
Later,
And later on in our journey, and I was like, wow. And then Gary Moore, obviously, and then I would obviously bring that into my playing. So, it's been, thank God, it's been a interesting culmination of like guitar influences. That's sort of what made Shavrock and our guitar style.
Well,
That's
Shavrock.
incredible.
Yeah, you go, Jim, please.
No. I'm
Okay.
just
Shavrock
pointing that
sound
out.
blends that does jumping in from further from what you were saying. That sound that you have got there, it does blend that classic rock, the blues, and has those real modern melodic elements. And on first listen, I had to go back and listen again to fully grasp the album and those little nuances and those guitar riffs and the melodies and the picks on it as well. Was that a natural progression with something you guys were going for, or was this something you consciously set out to perform and make?
We consciously, we really had an idea as to what we wanted to do. We've been playing on these songs for a long time. Now, Bumblefoot, our dear friend Ron, he really took it to another level.
Yeah.
And, getting into the studio with him, there were things that maybe we had some ideas, but we never dreamed in a million years it would turn out the way that it did. And we really give so much credit to him. One of the things he said to me that I'll never forget, he's like, you bake the cake, and he's like, we all ice the cake. And that's kind of what it was. There was a lot of icing being done in that studio. And it definitely fulfilled the vision that we had. We definitely had this vision. We've been playing the songs for a while. We would perform them here and there, and the majority of those elements were there already. But that final icing is what happened in the studio.
Exactly.
What up? Watch your sound, guys. Just lost you.
Ooh.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
There.
There we go. We got you from the start.
Okay.
Akiva. You dropped out right at the start, brother.
Oh, okay, fine. So no, basically, I was just going to say that,
There you go.
yeah, we sort of, when I first met Ron, I told him, I'm like, listen, we want these, big guitars, imagine like these Marshall stacks and with these loud distorted guitars with this super melodic tone. And he's like, yeah, I got you. And I was nervous. I was like, do I need to bring gear or whatever? And lo and behold, Ron just took care of everything. And he gave me the most perfect tone for my Les Paul. And yeah, we couldn't be happier, honestly.
Yeah, well, what a collaboration as well. How did that all come about with Ron and you guys?
Yeah, this is a wild story. So a couple years ago, probably going back at least 3 years ago, I did some type of guitar shred or something on Instagram, and obviously anyone in the guitar world knows of Ron Bumblefoot Thal. And so I'm like, you know what? Can't hurt. Let me just tag Ron. Lo and behold, he comments on my video and starts following me. Of course, I was like in awe, and I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. So I follow him back, and then fast forward, I think whatever, 6 months later, I see that he's coming to perform downtown in Baltimore. in our state of Maryland. And I'm like, okay, I would love to, I reach out to him. I say, Ron, I'd love to meet you. So he said, sure, come on down to the show. So we go on down, and and Nick was with me as well, and we hit it off with him. I remember I'm standing in the crowd, and he just hands me his double neck guitar off the stage. I never met him before. And he was just like the coolest, nicest guy. And so we had a great time, but that was it. Then a year goes by. I see he's doing the exact same show. And now we've been sitting on our music now. And we're like, I told Nick, I'm like, I have this crazy idea. I saw that Ron does some producing, but I wasn't sure. So I go down to the show, and it was a whole long story of how I got backstage, but I finally got backstage. I said, the Bearded Shredder's here to see Ron Bumblefoot. And then like 2 minutes later, the door swings open and Ron pulls me backstage. And he was just the nicest guy. And I said, Ron, we have original music. Do you do producing, whatever? He's just like, let's set up a meeting, because I'm sure he didn't know what we were all about and everything like that. And then we set up a meeting, and the rest is history. So it was just an amazing, I don't know what it is, obviously the hand of God, because to be working with such a guitar legend who we have admired for so many years is really a dream come true.
I was going to ask, you guys are from Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I'm not far from you. I'm about 8 miles north of Hagerstown. So,
okay.
I'm in Pennsylvania. But
Wow.
did you guys record this in Baltimore?
No.
So no, we recorded it in New Jersey.
Yeah, multiple trips to Princeton, New Jersey. He's got this 100-year-old little house that's got like 2 floors. All
Was
the
it with
recordings
him?
done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything. This whole album we recorded at Ron's place.
He recorded
at a studio,
mixed, mastered everything. Everything was done by him there.
It sounds great.
Oh, thank you so much.
Really does. It's such a clean sound with everything.
Exactly.
Like,
that was also amazing. 100%.
Yeah, he knew when I said to him, we want like by the solos, we want them, just to be in the.
He understood everything that we were concerned about. He understood going into it, and we left with zero concern. Yeah. Like it just everything exceeded expectations like tenfold.
As I said, it's a dream come true, really.
Yeah, for a debut record as well for you guys, you're obviously great musicians as well, but to have someone like that with the experience this guy has, not only on guitar, but behind that side of it with the production side of things, there would have been so many lessons you guys would have been got off of him as well going forward. Right. What were some of the key lessons and points you kind of walked away going, man, we got to do this next time, and fuck, we're glad we learned this?
I mean, there's a ton. I mean, it's interesting thing that I would say that one of the main things is that we came to when we would present the song to Ron, we just would give him literally a voice recording or something on our phone, and then he would tell us, oh, well, you might want to get to the chorus a little bit faster. So he really taught us how to structure a song and how to get it ready for recording. And that's sort of one thing I learned. How about you?
Yeah, so the arrangements, we had a more simplified version of how we wanted arrangements to be. And we really got to understand through the process, as he said, sometimes you want to get to the point quicker, less repetitions on the chorus. Things like that. So, but after the second or third trip up there, because we would do tempo maps, and so as he said, we would send him like a rough voice recording I'd do on my phone and play an acoustic guitars, and the two of us would sing or whatever on there. And it really shifted from like the beginning to where we were. It used to be, okay, so let's just change this, and this in terms of just how many times we're gonna do this part. Let's get to that part, and then after the third or fourth time, he was just like, yeah, the arrangement's perfect. Let's just leave that. That's great. So we really did learn that. And a few other things that we learned that were really important, moving forward, was guitar solos.
Yeah.
Really understanding guitar solos. So that's a big deal because, we've been guitar players our whole lives. And you have the guy who's as good as it gets and can do everything and anything on a guitar imaginable. And he's the guy telling me, Nick, slow down. Like, I remember there was one song I was just playing too fast. And he says, you have to understand, you're just going to lose people. You got to have something that is a singable, was what I think the term he used. He says a singable solo. That was on the record. Every single guitar solo is somewhat singable. You'll remember those melodies and kind of remember where they go. And that was something that really was eye-opening for us, and it really changed. And you could see progressively through the record, we made more and more effort to have these really, really melodic and tasty guitar pieces. So we give them a tremendous amount of credit for that. And there's a few other things, but those were the two main things that I can reflect upon.
Yeah, jumping into the album sec, just side note, it's really cool to see Ron working with bands like yourselves as well. I've seen he does another project, Thomas Thunder. I interviewed a band out of Ireland a few years ago called Midnight Preachers that he plays on and does a fair bit with as well. Wow. I think there's another artist, Sierra Levesque. That's why when I seen this one come across, I'm like, man, this guy isn't just about everything at the moment. It's really, really cool to see. We'll jump into the album now. Hope Found Me. It's an amazing name for a title of an album as well. It's really evocative. It does draw all sorts of emotional connections to the album before you even hear it. What does it mean personally? How does this tie into the record together thematically?
So, I mean, the message of hope was really, really important to us on so many different levels. I feel like it's really important to a lot of people, which is why we, especially this day and age, that's why we stuck with that concept for the record. The songs, lyrically are different with different concepts, but there, in almost every song, there's some message of hope in there. And that we really felt like that, really set the tone throughout the record.
Yeah.
And yeah, we really don't regret that at all. That was really it really was all about hope. I mean, even the fact of where we are right now is based upon hope, There's so many things, like the concept of hope found me. When I came up with that line of hope found me, it was a term I never heard of before, and it just kind of came to me. Instead of just finding hope, maybe hope found me. But what does that mean to myself or different people? And there's many little elements that have happened in my life that I can look at to say hope found me. The fact that Bumblefoot, took us under his wing and did this, that's hope finding me. I didn't find that. That found me to a certain extent. There's a lot of little things. But we really are trying to be as positive as we can in our lives, trying to, give messages of hope to other people who can really use it. We've had a lot of people give us some interesting feedback after hearing the release of that song. I think I've said this before in a prior interview. An elderly gentleman in his 70s lost his wife, and he came over to me, almost in tears, and said, "I can't even tell you how much this song spoke to me." And it was just so, talking to him directly is kind of what he said, based upon what he was experiencing right then and there. And another guy was in the army overseas, and his brother told me, speaking for him, saying how his brother's, been in the armies, suffering tremendously, been dealing with a lot of different stuff, addiction and things of that nature. And he said, Hope Found Me really was just so eye-opening and meant so much to him. So, those are the things that really
I would say
resonated with us tremendously.
Yeah, it seems to have resonated with people just on YouTube alone. It's like 31,000 views as well, not to mention all the streams that it's racked up on the streaming cycles as well. It is a 12-song debut album. It is quite ambitious, but dare say you guys have been, like I said, been making music together for years. Which songs did you know were going to make the cut? And you obviously, as we mentioned before, you did have a feel of this.
That is a really, really good question. Very good question. Because here's the truth: is that we took it song by song. We weren't sure whether we were going to do an EP, or just even a single. We thought we'd start off with a single, and
the whole plan was a single.
Oh, was that? Yeah.
This whole thing began with "The Boy I Used to Be." After that meeting with Bumblefoot, we did like 4 or 5 different tunes, and he kept coming back saying, "No, the boy I used to." He's like, "These are all great." Boy I Used to Be is speaking to him. Yeah. So we started off with that single, and we got the bug. We couldn't stop after that.
That's the truth, and we just went from song to song, and
we never knew which one was going to be next. By the way, we did not plan it like that. It would just be like in the moment. What do you think we should just do? We do this one, do that.
And the funny thing is that we have a song called "Feels Like a Sad Song," which we already recorded maybe 8 tracks, and I told Nick, I'm like, Nick, do you remember that song you composed? I think 10 years ago. He hadn't thought about it. And
it's definitely not going to.
It's not going to make the album.
Not going to make the record.
And lo and behold, we go into the studio, and it came out just so beautiful, so incredible.
That's one of my favorite songs on the record. I don't know if a lot of people got to hear that one, but There's something about it that came out really magical.
Yes.
Did not expect it to turn out the way that it did. When I wrote it, it was a very mellow, soft song. I wrote it on an acoustic guitar, and Shavrock, we always rock things at some point. So it may start slow, but it's gonna have that big finish. So that happened there, and after I heard it, I remember driving back. Every time, this is really cool. Every time we left the studio, Ron would send us a mix that we would listen to on our car ride home.
Just the raw mix
Just
of
the
like
raw
what
mix.
we recorded. Nothing's been really like done or altered.
But it was like we were like driving, we were just looking at each other like, oh my God, this is going to be so good. So so that one wasn't supposed to make it. Neither was another one of our favorites. A couple of our favorite songs were not supposed to. We did not plan them making the record. Dazed and Confused.
Oh yeah,
which I think is his favorite song.
So many people's I think favorite song. Honestly, so many people mentioned this song to me, and that came out again. Also, just really remarkable. And again, we have Ron to thank in the sense of his producing is so brilliant and how he elevates the songs. So it's really interesting how we ended up deciding and choosing these 12 songs, but I think it really worked out well.
Yeah, great.
Exactly. Those tracks like The Boy I Used to Be, Empty Cup, Feels Like a Sad Song, all these tracks have different emotional pulls to it as well. How do you go approaching balancing that, as well with the tracks? Because then you got Dazed and Confused, and then other tracks where you could just shred out. And like you listen to some of these, they're so powerful and emotion. Then other tracks you just kind of rock out with it as well and have some fun.
Yeah,
I remember like we were talking about the order of the songs. I think it was we were at dinner, right?
But we were sitting down we made sure every time we were in the studio, we always had a nice lunch, but an even better dinner. So we all of us would sit there and kind of chill, kind of like family time. And
Nick would grill these amazing steaks. We just had a great time.
So we were just talking like nobody had an idea of what the order of the tracks were going to be. And so we were kind of just spitting out. We didn't know Kaleidoscope was either going to be the first or the last. Those are the only two places that made sense for it to go. Because it has a big beginning and a big ending. Because the beginning of the song ends with the same beginning. So that could be a big ending to a record. But for whatever reason, it felt right to start with the big kicks for the record. So we started there. And then we kind of wanted to go like fast, then something a little bit softer. So that's kind of why we went with The Boy I Used to Be. And then we sped it up again to go to Amen. So we were kind of trying to find a balance. One guy who reviewed the album was like, he thought that it was a little bit of a funny spot for The Boy I Used to Be #2. He's like, that song just hurts, man. I remember that's what he said. He's like, that song just hurts. So he thought that song maybe should have been a little bit later. But
we're pretty happy with it.
I think we're fine.
It gives you time to get over it by the next song anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And you can always hit shuffle. I mean,
exactly. Good point.
Don't hit shuffle. Play the whole album.
Exactly, front to back. Exactly.
Yeah, that's it. I think Kaleidoscope was a great place for it because if you listen to you guys, and I know a lot of people get stuck in the streaming cycles and they go, oh, yeah, okay, then those are the two singles. We'll listen to them. They've had a lot. Listen, when you chuck in the whole album, you hear Kaleidoscope, you're like, oh, okay, then you've got all these different, sounds coming at you, but also, as you said, as we were talking about, you're able to come in through the light and the dark, through the heavy, and hit the home, and then rock out as well, and then have these emotional pulls with these tracks as well.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it was a cool process, getting the order right, but I think we did. Yeah.
I think so too.
Okay, and so now the album's been out for a little bit. You guys have had a little bit of time to digress, and I know this track changes, and we could say, which track at the moment for you guys is your favourite, or do you feel best represents Shavrock at the moment, and why?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Wow. Let's. I mean, I could tell you, I would say Kaleidoscope, I think, is most popular.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
It's funny because I feel like when I wrote that song, it was my most popular song that I would play for people. There was something about that song that hooked them very quickly. But as the songs I would write after that, like when I started playing Hope Found Me, that was a song that really, broke people, to say the least. It kind of was like that song that people just needed to hear. For me, it happens to be now my favorite song to play live. I think it's the most intimate song It's got the most powerful message. Also, the way that it kind of explodes at the end that nobody expects, like, like the octave higher, and kind of just, more of a powerful vocal. It's such a soft vocal. And it's a soft, pretty harmony between him and I. And then when I go to the higher register and we kind of just the guitars come in really full, heavy guitars, and the guitar solo, every part of that just it's almost just like its own symphony.
Yeah,
and it just feels.
was, for me, I agree in a way. It was definitely a very, very special song, and every time I listen to it, I really am just blown away of how it came out and how melodic. I don't know, like this guitar solo just flowed. Honestly, just flowed straight out from me, and it came out wonderful. And so many people actually, I do a lot of YouTube streaming and stuff like that. And so many people constantly are actually referencing that song, and they're saying they're going through hardships, and that song just means and speaks to them so much. So I would agree with Nick.
And there's a reason why it's the title track of the record. I like a lot of these songs.
I know it's so hard to choose.
Yeah, I know, dude. It's like picking a child. I know. I hate doing it to bands.
And it's funny because when we're so focused on like the one or two songs, like the Kaleidoscope Hope Found Me, we kind of like forget about like Empty Cup.
Right.
And Empty Cup is a real that's one of the songs that I'm probably most proud of on the record. I don't think we've ever talked about it in an interview, but there's so many things about that song. Actually, I was talking to my mom today, specifically about that song, out of the blue, about the lyrics about that song. And she's like, she actually had this idea. She said, you got to get the lyrics out there because not everybody may really understand what you're saying or until they like read it on a piece of paper.
Right.
But the lyrics in that song are really strong. They're really, really deep and meaningful to a lot of people as well. So it's one of those like sleeper songs. And actually, I think I'm the actual guitar solo in that song.
Yes, and the really cool, unique thing is, as you guys know, there's very few modulations, key changes in today's world.
In there.
And we decided, okay, we got to do this 80s themed, huge key. So we have like the drums
Big
come
drums
in.
that come in, and then we went up like, I don't know, we modulated like 4 keys up.
That's such a special song.
That only happened in the studio. That was not really planned. That was like we talked about it in the car ride up, actually. So while driving for a couple hours, one of the things that came up was like, maybe we should just modulate. And we ran the idea by Ronnie's like, yeah, let's try it.
Yeah. So many things happened, honestly, in the studio where the magic happened. That's the honest truth. Like Kaleidoscope, oh my gosh, the whole thing like happened in the studio.
Yeah, that was a magical song.
Everyone had like different points of view of like Ron had a point of view and Nick had a point of view and I did, and we're like, how are we gonna make this work? And in the end, it came out. Yeah, everyone listened to each other, and it came a masterpiece.
Yeah, totally.
Brilliant. And it truly did.
It did. I'm glad I mentioned Empty Cup because that, as with the other tracks I mentioned, does have that emotional pull. And that's the joy of jumping into whole albums. And you guys, obviously, album lovers as well, putting on that album and just be surprised. As a listener, my favorite tracks change every week. I know when I was growing up, I'd put on the CD and I'd listen to it over and over again. One week you're playing one, another week it's like, oh, this one's my favorite. And that's why people need to get out and digest albums still. So it's great to see you guys dropping this one as well. Speaking of, we'll jump into a few first short questions and then we'll let you guys go. First album you've ever bought?
Okay, so we'll admit this, that I feel like we had a lot of burned CDs as kids.
I do, so did I, man.
So I'm trying to think so I think the first CD that we bought, believe it or not, completely different genre. Actually, my dad bought it for us. It doesn't count. I remember my dad coming in, like he gave us a Michelle Branch CD. Oh, it was actually a really good CD. But
I love her, dude. Yeah,
he's all in, bro. I knew it would be
great.
And Goodbye to You, come on.
Yeah. And it's funny because my dad's the guy who introduced us to G&R, but he still understood good music. So it's like when she came out with that song Everywhere, she actually had a great record. Yeah. It's a lot better than I think people realize. But anyways, I remember like Daughtry's first album. I clearly remember running out and buying that the second that came out. And also all the Avenged Sevenfold CDs. Yeah. Especially when Backcountry came out. From then on, I was like, the second album dropped, I'm running to Target or wherever I can grab that CD. So those are the ones I really remember. I don't know if you have any other.
Those two, I think, were like you said. We did burn a lot of CDs. I'll go to the library.
Because the library had all the CDs there, and it was not really it wasn't like for physical copies. We would just put it on our iPods.
So I literally had thousands
like
and
10,000
thousands of
songs on
albums.
iPod, yeah.
And
Before I could
that's
do
sort of,
CDs, it was tapes. So I'd go steal my mum's
Yeah.
tape
I remember tapes,
cassettes
yeah.
and put
Yeah.
a little bit of
I
sticky
still have
tape
mine.
off it and sit there
Yeah.
and record the
Yeah.
songs on the radio
I remember
before
on the
they come
radio,
on.
Yeah.
you can
Sorry,
actually hit
Mum.
record on your tape recorder. Like you can actually, while the radio is going, you would hit record. So I was like recording the songs from the radio.
Yeah.
Same.
Damn straight, kids, you don't
discovered-
know the struggle that we went through to get good
Oh,
music,
man.
man.
You're sitting there. I remember when Metallica came out with Memory Remains. And I'm
Yeah.
sitting there on DC 101 and 98 Rock and waiting for it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we grew up on, though. 98 Rock, DC
98
101.
90,
Yeah.
what was the other one? 99.1 HFS.
Had to do
Yeah,
what you,
Sure,
had
exactly.
to do
All
what you
these
could before the internet, people. First
Yay.
concert you guys went to.
Mid-Atlantic kids, all right.
What was the first concert you guys went to?
Oh man, I'm trying to remember. It's funny, like concert wise, I didn't start going till much later on, but then I went to a
Went to a
ton,
lot.
and
So he's going to everybody.
and it's been great, honestly.
amazing.
That like I've been able to like meet so many of these guys, and like they'll hook me up with seats, and it's been incredible. Like I got to hang out with Zach Wild on his tour bus, and he's such an amazing guy. That was a huge moment.
He's got like I don't know.
I took him backstage to Joe Bonamassa. I mean,
we got to. Yeah, that was
That's
he's
cool.
he had some type of gift with some of these guys because it's like there's millions of people out there that
Yeah.
are probably PMing every artist and superstar. Somehow he'll like jam over one of their tunes,
and they love it.
and then
Yeah.
he'll tag them and then PM them, or
If
sometimes
I
they'll
see
message
it
him.
right, if they're in town or whatever, and like it's just been.
He's met literally
Yeah.
countless artists are interested to meet him, which is just wild. So
We just met Daughtry, and that was
Yeah.
amazing. And
That's nice.
yeah, we just so many bands I got to see. And I'm so thankful, honestly. And I'm a big Aaron Lewis fan, and Stains, and
Stained.
just so many.
Yeah, dude. Man, that's like Jimmy here, dude. I'll be like chatting away. He's like, "Oh, I'm just ringing up. I'm in, I'm at JD's house at the moment to Servios. We're just hanging out." Or, "Oh, Morgan Rose is just drumming on my album. It's all good, dude. Don't worry." I feel your pain there, Nick. First guitar riff do you remember you learned to play?
Oh, for me, so probably Crazy Train, and then shortly after that, probably Enter Sandman. Maybe I think there was even like a Bon Jovi. What was that? You Give Love a Bad Name. That dun, dun,
Oh,
dun,
yeah.
dun, dun,
Oh yeah.
dun, dun.
Sure.
That's another one I remember. And then I'm trying to think what else came after that.
Maybe Paranoid or
I don't know.
Iron Man. I don't know.
Could have been. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm sorry. The first riff that I learned how to play was I think Wild Thing.
Wow.
Sure.
Oh yeah, and then probably also I Love Rock and Roll by Joe.
Yeah,
Joe.
I love rock and roll.
My
Even
dad taught us
stuff.
that stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
So growing up, my dad taught us like sort of the basic stuff.
The other things I learned, so let me rephrase.
You're
So
right.
those are my things my dad taught me. The things I learned, like riffs I learned and taught myself, would
Taught
be the
yourself,
things I said
yeah.
before. Yeah.
Okay.
Or like Sweet Child of Mine,
Yeah,
you
those
taught
are-
yourself,
exactly.
all that.
Did Dad get first guitar? What do you remember? Do you remember your first guitar?
Oh,
Yeah,
We
sure.
had share.
What was it, a Washburn?
It was a Billy T blue Washburn that it's probably around here somewhere with a missing toggle switch. But ironically, that's the guitar that we both learned to play on. But he really learned how to play lead guitar on that guitar.
Yeah.
He went overseas to
for school.
when he was around 17, 18 years old, and the guy couldn't play a scale. I'm serious. Like he played chords. He had a great ear in terms of being able to play almost anything in terms of chords. But he was not a lead guitar
Yeah, I
player.
never messed with it, and then
Some 8 months later, and you're like, "What in the world just happened?" He's literally sitting there shredding in his dorm room, annoying everybody around the block.
Everywhere.
Damn
You'll put
straight.
stories. There are people. There are like different classes going on, and he's sitting there just in his dorm room jamming, and they're hearing it in the classroom. Like, what the heck is
and I was
going
like
on here?
nonstop. Like
Just
I
nonstop
became
playing.
like so focused on guitar when I was away, and I'm so glad I did. And so now we have two lead guitar players in Shavrock. So
Damn straight. Look where it got you both. Nick, Akiva, this has been an absolute pleasure getting to chat with you guys. Congratulations again on Hope Found Me.
Thank
For
you so
everyone
much.
watching, the album is out now, digitally and physically. So go out there, crank it loud. The neighbors are going to want to hear it. Thank you guys
You
as
can
you
find us, by
continue
the way,
bringing
also on
hope and
Deko.
rock to the world. Last word,
Thank
shout
you.
outs, thank yous, links, all on you, my friends.
Yes.
Exactly.
If you go to Shavrock band/Linktree, that has all of our links, as well as if you want to order merch, you go to Deko Entertainment /Shavrock. And we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Spotify, all the big platforms. So please check it out. And you guys can see we got really, actually, we are selling these really cool CDs. And
That looks
I
really
have to tell
good.
you, the sound quality, it just sounds amazing.
Yeah, CDs are next level compared to MP3s. It's just like everything's so, condensed, and as long as you got a
Yeah.
CD player,
Right.
you can hear the real
Right.
And we
thing.
got these really cool Shavrock hats.
I'm gonna get one of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're close enough to Baltimore. We'll
I'll-
have to meet one
I'll-
day.
I've said it so
Absolutely.
many times, you can't fuck with the qualities. Yeah, stream it, but if you really like it, you want to
Yeah.
support the bands,
Right.
go out there, buy the bloody albums, buy the vinyls, go get the concert
Exactly.
tickets.
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
you so very much, mate.
Thank you. for having us.
Absolutely, it's been a real